So you've done a will and you're worried that it's maybe worthless after you die. How does that happen? Wait, I did a will. How can my will be worthless after I die? So a will only becomes effective at the time of your death. There's a misconception people have that if they do a last will and testament, a will, not to be confused with a living will, but a last will and testament, that some of the things they say in there can apply before they die. And that is simply not the case. But if you have said what you want in a will and you die, it's still possible that all of that may be worthless. How does that happen? One way is it's not done correctly. It's not executed properly. See, in the state of Florida, we have very stringent, strict executionary requirements. That is signing. It must be signed with certain I's dotted and T's crossed in order to be legally valid. And so you may have a document that's crystal clear that you wrote or a loved one did, but it's not executed correctly. That is invalid and therefore worthless. Now, maybe it is executed correctly, properly, but it's not worded correctly or properly. That can also create litigation. It can also make the entire thing worthless if it's not worded correctly. The words that you use to convey what you want to happen are so critically important to remove what we call ambiguity. That's having potentially more than one meaning. And lawyers who do estate planning are trained to use the correct, clear wording and to make sure that the will is executed under the correct circumstances to be legally valid and to ensure that your wishes occur the way you want them. The final way that your will may become valid is if it doesn't exist. So what do you mean it doesn't exist? I wrote it, I signed it, but if it got destroyed or lost, it may have zero value. Even though that was done prior to a death, if it doesn't exist, it is like it never existed. It is revoked in the eyes of the law and therefore not in existence. And whatever is said in that or was said in that will not apply. Estate planning is one of the areas where people think they can just go to an office supply store, go online, fill out forms, and nothing can be further from the truth. You can do that, and it might work out that it is legally executed correctly. The terminology used is someone else's that might not apply to what you want to happen because it's form. The proper thing for you to do is to meet with an experienced and qualified estate planning attorney, talk about your wishes, your desires, and your particular circumstances so that they can craft the wording exactly the way to make what you want to happen. And then they can assist you and supervise and make sure that the execution, the signing is all done correctly, and even perhaps maintain the original of that will for safekeeping. They're avoiding all the three ways your will could become worthless after your death.